to you. What is up, everybody? Chris Soriano here with you. It's the Chris Soriano podcast here on YouTube. We have so much to get to today. I mean, we have just so much stuff to dive into. We got TNA Wrestling being sold to the evil empire. We have Trump's disgusting comments, plus a lot of sports talk, a lot of political talk, a lot of current events talk. But I'll start on the sports end of things. And I'll start with baseball. And I'll start with the National League wildcard game. And I'll start with the New York Mets. You know, there's been this thing the last couple of years that the Mets have taken over New York City. This is a Mets town now. And I laugh when that is spoken. Because that couldn't be further from the truth, folks. You see, what you have with the New York Mets is a team that is very lucky to be in a subpar division. And to be really, honestly, in a subpar league. I mean, let's face it. Outside of the Nationals, which you can make a case even they're overrated, outside of really the Cubs, the Dodgers, there were not really any good teams in the National League this year. Really none that stood out at you. And yes, the Mets beat the Yankees in TV ratings this year for the first time in a while, I think, or if ever. But that could also be linked to Yes Network being dropped by Comcast. So they lost viewers automatically. So I wouldn't be too harped on with that. But the funny thing about Met fans, folks, is that last year when the New York Yankees were in the American League wildcard game and they were eliminated 3-0, the exact score the Mets were eliminated by the Giants at home, and the Yankees were eliminated at home too. They said, quote, what a joke, Yankee fans going off about this. It's like the Yankees didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, what is one game, right? But wait a second, Mets fans. Wasn't it you yourselves that were just eliminated in game 163? Should we take this as a joke and that you didn't make the playoffs? I mean, because that was what you were using for the Yankees last year versus the Astros. And you know what? I have so many unbearable Met fans on Facebook that I actually may unfriend a lot of them. Because it's just, I'm growing tired of arguing with these people. They're just so pathetic. I mean, at least I have ripped the Yankees. At least I have ripped the Yankees' moves. At least I have said when the Yankees do something wrong. The Mets can do no wrong with their fans. They can do no wrong. And I don't want to hear about the injuries. Please, for the love of God, stop it. Stop with the injuries. Please stop. And listen, do I think Collins did a great job with the team? Yes. They lost a lot of guys. Yes, the manager deserves a lot of credit. But you know what? Point to your schedule. You went down. And when you really went down with all the injuries and you weren't, and the pitching really went down, not so much the offensive guys, but when the pitching went down, you were left with a schedule of the Twins, the Marlins, the Braves, the Phillies. I mean, come on. Yes, they took 2 out of 3 from St. Louis, but then again, St. Louis was not a good home team this year for whatever reason. Washington, okay, they took that series. They split with a depleted Yankees team. So, yes, you know, but they had injuries and Collins did a good job managing them. But this notion that it was an improbable run to the playoffs. Oh, the magical darling Mets. It was an improbable run. Shut up. Please, I'm begging you to just shut up. What improbable run? I could have gone out there with a bunch of 14-year-olds and won with that schedule that I had. Come on. Improbable run. Please stop. The Phillies are hot garbage. The Twins, please. They're not even relevant. And I love how the media just paints this picture. Oh, the improbable run. Please stop. And with the injuries, I've had it with that too. You should have won the game. You had your ace on the mound. You had Thor on the mound. And Syndergaard pitched beautifully. As good as you could pitch. But you had everybody there. You had Reyes. You had Granderson. You had Cespedes. You had Bruce. You had the bats in the lineup that night. You had your ace. You were at home. And you couldn't win? And you couldn't even get a run? I guess some of it got to tell Yo-Yo and Jose that this wasn't the Phillies or the Twins pitching staff they were going up against. Come on. Please stop. I mean, Jesus God. An improbable run. But I was pulling for them. I really wanted them to move on, and I wanted to see Bartolo Colon get pounded. I don't know how we haven't checked this guy for anything. I mean, he was busted in Oakland. Now, I mean, he's a couple of years older now. No one's gonna even investigate this guy. Why? Because he's like a jolly old fat guy. We're just not gonna, stop. Come on, please stop. There's something fishy going on there. Stop. But it's the darling Mets. The darling Mets. The Mets can do no wrong. The improbable run they had. Please give me a break. Give me a freaking break, will you please? Stop. And you know what? No one feels bad for you also. No one, if you're a Mets fan, no one feels bad for your team. Because your freaking team came into spring training, Thor and Yo-Yo, riding horseback. And Cespedes with the sports cars. Like they owned Major League Baseball. They won a freaking pennant last year, and they came in like they were the kings of baseball. And they played just one more game than 162. But they're the darling Mets. They're the team that timed the Mets. So. Funny, Cleveland had injuries. Toronto, I mean, there were a lot of teams this year that had injuries. But the Mets, their injuries were, of course, it's the Mets they couldn't recover. Every other team did, but not the Mets. Please stop. Back after this.
Well, aren't we feeling grown up today?
The all-new 2003 Lincoln Navigator. There are those who travel, and those who travel well.
Back here, and folks, I just read this stuff this afternoon. These comments being made by Donald Trump. This was about 11 years ago. And Trump was caught on a hot mic saying these vulgar things about women. And basically admitting that he, had groped a couple of women and was actually bragging about it. And, talking about inappropriate ways to pick women up. And a lot of people had a lot of feedback on Twitter and Facebook, and I saw it all. With Trump supporters, with Clinton supporters. And for the people that are saying, oh, that's how all men talk. Really? That's the thing that we're going to go with now? That's the thing? Oh, every guy talks like that? First of all, I bet you there are a lot of guys out there that have spoken somewhat like that. And been a little bit loose with they're talking about women or the way that they act around women. And people go, oh, this was 11 years ago. He wasn't even running for president. It wasn't even a thought. Why should this matter? Well, it matters because now wives and daughters and girlfriends and mothers have all now heard this audio. And my thing is, how could anyone now that is a father of a young girl or a husband, how could you vote for this guy? There are reports coming out that Mike Pence's wife is furious over this, and that Pence isn't too happy. You have Republican politicians who were endorsing him, dropping endorsements right and left. Just pulling him. I think I called this on Facebook that I actually think that Trump should step down. I think Trump should drop out. The problem is I don't think that Pence can hold the ticket. I think Pence is too stiff. I think the GOP, if they can emergency replace Trump with John Kasich, I think that would be great, a Kasich-Pence ticket. But see, you get into now, do you just kick Pence off the ticket now, or do you just replace Trump with Kasich and leave Pence as the VP? Because then you're kind of forcing the VP pick on Kasich. It's a tough situation, but I don't know how we can sit here and literally say that this man can run for president. And, he said it in private. Well, the thing is, he said it. And yes, he apologized, and it's all over him apologizing. But he said it. And you can say, people can change. And aren't we supposed to forgive? Well, yeah. But, when these type of tapes are out there and you're running for president and you've already have a history of saying things and accused of being misogynistic, this is not a good look for you. This is not a good look for the party. So I really think that the GOP should really assess their options here and really think about what they should do. There is still time. There's little time, but there's still time. And if he stays in, I think Clinton will set records here. I think what Reagan did to Carter is going to be just nothing compared to what she does to Trump. She's going to kill him. She could crack 85%. She's going to kill him. He's going to get no votes. Not getting the minority vote, not getting the woman vote. I mean, and he's not even going to get the votes from his party. What's he going to get? It's rough. It's rough, but this is what the American people on the Republican side voted for. And now they have to live with it. Or do they? Is there a way to get Trump out? Will Trump drop out? I don't think he's going to drop out. But can they remove him? It's going to be tricky. But you still got time. And you really have to assess and think with your conscience and morally look at this as a human being. And say, is this guy really qualified to run for president? Yes, he has brought up issues. Yes, he has opened the door to outsiders running for not only president, but for office. But with what this man has said, can he run for president? Can he be president? The answer is no. Back after this.
And if I tap my Geico app here, I can pay my bill. Tap it here, digital insurance ID card. And tap it here, boom, roadside assistance.
Okay, Oakley. It's Axwell May.
The egg pay?
Odalite.
Take an extra pay.
Onve.
Really? Pig Latin.
Geico. Anywhere, anytime. Just an app-tay away on the Geico app.
I have sat here and ranted on the Jets. There were a lot of Jets rants you can look up here on the Soriano Network that I have done over the years. But my God, what we saw this past Sunday was an embarrassment. Absolute embarrassment. You know, the Seahawks haven't played that great this year. Russell Wilson came in with a bad knee. And they kicked our ass up and down our own home field. And if it wasn't for Rex Ryan not having a clue how to coach, we would be 0-4 right now. And Kevin Fitzpatrick, the guy that the Jets had to get, 9 picks in 2 weeks, 6 picks against KC, 3 last week. What is going on? I don't understand it. It just dawned on me that I said Kevin Fitzpatrick. He's so bad, I don't even know his name anymore. Ryan Fitzpatrick. God. And people go, oh, well, Chris, who are you going to plug into the quarterback hole? There's nobody there. And let's face it, the team they hate Geno Smith. He's a locker room cancer. Nobody likes this guy. Nobody. But honestly, screw it. Fuck it. Go Petty. Go Hackenberg. I don't give a shit. And people go, oh, well, Chris, why would you do that? You know, I've heard last week, this was before the Seahawks game, I heard 4 or 5 people on sports talk radio programs throughout that week leading up to the Seahawks game that the Jets were a quarterback away from battling New England for the AFC East, getting back to the AFC title game, and possibly getting to a Super Bowl. People actually said that. That was a thing. And I'm sitting there going, are you people on drugs? And I know the hardcore Jet fans can be like, well, Chris, you're a Jet fan. How can you say that? They're right. We're a quarterback away from it. No, we're not. No, we're not. Have you seen the defense? This defense is so overrated. So overrated. And have you seen Darrelle Revis? Jim Abbott, with the hand that he had, with the arm that he has no hand in, he can throw it downfield over Darrelle Revis. This guy couldn't block anything. He couldn't stop a nosebleed. He's done. Revis is burnt toast. Burnt toast. Done. Finish. This team's getting me so pissed off. I got hiccups now. Hiccups. Ah. Damn Jets. Get me all pissed off. Give me the hiccups. Give me agita. This team kills me every week. Every single goddamn week. They kill me. And let's face it, Fitzpatrick made out like a bandit here. A journeyman quarterback. Mediocre quarterback who had one good year. That was last year. And I said it. He will never, ever, ever sniff that again. Ever. He will never even come close to the numbers that he had last year. He will never even come close. And this guy held the Jets out. God damn, he is smart. This was not. Listen. You can't blame us on McCagnon. This is going back to all the GMs that we had that didn't draft that quarterback. Because let's face it, when was the last time you really felt confident with who the Jets had under center? Really, just be honest. It's been a long time. It's been a long freaking goddamn time. And I am tired of hearing, oh, they have the best defense. No, they don't. You can run them all day. Well, they could stop you up front. Okay, so guess what? You don't run the fucking ball against them. You just throw all day. Throw all day. Throw all day because they won't stop you. The Jets have not been able to defend or stop the pass in God knows how long. And it's really becoming just pathetic now. I mean, you got Decker out. I mean, folks, they're going to get creamed versus Pittsburgh. Oh, my God. Did you see what they did to the Chiefs? And the Chiefs killed the Jets. And the Chiefs are a much better team than the Jets. Oh, my God. The Steelers are going to destroy them. I'm going 45-7, maybe 45-14. Maybe the Jets get 2 touchdowns. Fitz will be good for 2 touchdowns, probably 5 interceptions. Oh, God. I mean, first of all, when the schedule came out, I had 6-10, 7-9. Oh, we signed Fitzpatrick. 6-10, 7-9. You know, folks, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a guy that you go goo-goo over Gaga for. You just don't. And it was Fitz magic, whatever the hell you want to call it, last year. But you know what? That was a flash in the pan. And they had their shot. They could have gotten to the playoffs. They had their shot. And they blew it. And that was it. And that was it. He came. He won 10 games. Could have won 11 and gotten to the playoffs. He choked like a dog. And that's it. And that's it. And he hasn't been the same since the Patriots game at home last year. Has not been the same. He's been god-awful. He's been horrendous. But to sit here and say that, oh, the Jets are a playoff team. No, they're not. Look at their roster. Oh, yeah, I am. I'm looking directly at the Jets roster, and they're not a playoff team at all. At all. At all. And you can give them the Giants schedule, which is, you know, a cream puff schedule, I feel like. And they still won't make the playoffs. It's not a good team. Look at it. You have no quarterback. None. You have no defenders that can defend the pass. You got a couple of guys that can rush the passer and stop you up front. Other than that, what do you have? You have nothing. A couple of offensive weapons, that's it. Not a good team.
Hey, there we are. These days, we're all trying to save money. That's why I'm shooting this commercial myself, at home. It's really easy, and I can pass the savings on to you.
Sneak attack!
Okay, ready for the food part? Check it out. My warm and flaky croissant sandwiches. Supreme or sausage, both made with fresh egg and melting cheese. You get 2 for just $3. Okay, I'm back. Whoa! Oh, I'm so ready for this recession to be over.
Folks, we reported last week that the WWE was on the verge of buying TNA, that we were hearing that from people. Well, it looks like that is half correct here. Apparently, Vince McMahon has put in a bid to buy the TNA Tape Library. But Billy Corgan has bought the company for now. So now what you have essentially is McMahon owns the tape library of TNA. Corgan owns TNA. Now, what this is summarizing up to, and if you're confused about this, well, Vince owns the tape library, but Billy Corgan owns the company. What's going on here? Apparently, Corgan is going to rebrand the company, and that includes also renaming it. So, he, in the next couple of months, is probably going to rebrand and rename the company. Now, Vince has the TNA tape library. My thing is, does that become an issue for a guy like Billy Corgan? Because now you're handcuffing yourself. You can't now sell DVDs, I don't think, because you don't have the stuff now. Vince has it. So it's really, again, and there could be stuff in a contract that explains everything. But it's kind of an odd situation that You have a rival company owning your tape library, but you have someone else. It's weird. It's weird. Plus, you have people that are signed in TNA that aren't signed by TNA. They're signed by Panda Energy. So that's another thing that comes up with, are these guys going to be free agents now? It's really interesting to look at. But on the topic of TNA, Cody Rhodes debuted. I think it's good that he's going to be in there. Aaron Rex, Damian Sandow. You know, he's looking okay. Eddie Edwards just became the TNA champion. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, the issue with TNA is that they passed the TNA World Heavyweight Championship around like a cheap hooker. And I think that hurts their product and that hurts their brand. Billy Corgan, I think, is a smart guy. I think he's a smart individual. I think he's a good wrestling fan. And I think he understands the business. But the thing with Billy Corgan is, he's got a lot of debt to clean up here. TNA is in a financial crisis. And if the WWE would have purchased them, they would have laid off a couple of people. Yes, they would have. More than a couple. But they would have cleaned up the debt mess. You know, you have to look at, can Corgan afford any of these big names that are in there? And I don't know what Cody signed for. I'm hearing that it's kind of like a Brock Lesnar type deal where it's not really a set contract. It's like specific dates. I don't know how much they're paying Sandow. I know Lashley's a big name. The Hardys, they have to be making something here. But the company's just, it's fucked. That's basically what it comes down to. The company is fucked. And Vince is going to own it all very soon. I say by the end of 2017. He's already got the tape library pretty much wrapped up. Now it comes down to, is he going to buy out Billy Corgan? Because how long is Billy Corgan going to keep this up? I mean, he's got money, but not so much money where he can help them with their debt crisis. I mean, they are in a financial mess here. And that has been with the bad business deals of Dixie Carter. And she was a cancer to TNA. And I think pushing her out the door is the best thing that can happen to them. But I think the damage is already done. But the reports are that Vince really didn't want to buy TNA per se. He really wasn't interested in TNA. He was interested in the tape library. Let's face it, the network, they need some content. It would help. Tape library, smart move. But now what does that do? Because he didn't buy the company, he bought the tape library. So where does that all fit in? It'll be interesting to see. And the network is already putting up like TNA surveys. So it's, you know, you hear stuff, deny. When Jim Ross says it's a done deal, it's a done deal. I mean, it's just as simple as that. When JR speaks, you listen. And it's pretty much fact. We're going to wrap things up on the other side of this, back after this.
I got a fever and inflammation, that's what I got. You turn the heat on me, so I'm like it hot. Call out the engine, ring up the station, I am on the spot.
The Southwest Patty Melt with jalapenos, pepper jack cheese, and spicy Santa Fe sauce.
Love burns you up the most, like it or
The
not.
classic just got a whole lot hotter.
Baby, I like it hot.
The Southwest Patty Melt. New at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
All right, solid, powerful podcast today. Love it. Jets probably going to get destroyed this Sunday. 45-7 Steelers, I could see it. Fitzpatrick is just straight garbage. Giants, will Odell Beckham act like a little bitch again this week? Who knows? And NFL also, over-unders and picks. Follow me on Chris Soriano 13 on Twitter for all that fancy stuff Saturday night into Sunday morning. Solid program. We will see you next time on the Soriano Podcast.
Out. Let's beat out. One out. Good jump. Hey, me and you right here. Let's go.
Two down. Two down.
Let's go. Right here, John. One pitch away. One pitch away.
Thank you so much for watching the Chris Soriano Podcast. Remember, you can follow us on social media, on Twitter at The Soriano Podcast, Instagram, The Soriano Network, and my personal one, Chris Soriano 13, on Twitter.